coloration and distribution throughout the world's oceans, killer whales are one of the most recognizable animals in the sea. And now, I'd like to introduce one of our very own killer whale trainers, Laura.
Thanks, Jessica. How's everyone doing today? Excellent job. We are very excited to have you here today. And we are going to be hanging out with two of our killer whales. We have Ike and Shouka. Now, how many of you have ever seen killer whales out in the ocean? Raise your hand. Yeah, it can be pretty hard. But we're lucky enough to see them and hang out with them and learn so much about them right here at SeaWorld. So we're going to talk a little bit about the physical characteristics of killer whales, and we're going to use Ike and Shouka right here next to us. As you can see, Ike swimming around the water, he is 17 feet long. Now he also weighs close to 5,000 pounds. Now the first thing that we're going to talk about is counter shading. So as you can tell, they are black and white in coloration. That black coloration on the top of their bodies helps them blend in with their surroundings. If their prey is above them looking down, that black body blends in with the bottom of the ocean. Their white coloration on the top blends in with the light from the surface. And again, this is called counter shading. Now the second thing that we're going to talk about is their dorsal fins. Now the dorsal fins in the killer whales is all made out of cartilage and collagen, very dense fibrous connective tissues. There is no bone or skeletal structure in the dorsal fin. So as you can see, some whales have a bent over dorsal fin. Some whales have a straight dorsal fin, and many people ask, why is that? Well, the exact reason is there is no bone structure in there to keep it upright. So if these animals are swimming, whether in the ocean or at SeaWorld, if they're spending a lot of time at the surface of the water, sometimes that cartilage and collagen can become very heavy and eventually cause that dorsal fin to lean over. Now we're going to talk about their flippers. These are the arm-like appendages of the killer whales, and they have 5 bones in there, very similar to what we have in our hands. The main difference, they can't move those digits independently like we can. They're all connected, again, with that collagen and fibrous connective tissue. They use those flippers to steer. Since they do have bones in there, they can turn right, turn left, help them steer in the water. Now, killer whales also have these white oval patches there on their eyes. These white oval patches, along with the saddle patch there behind their dorsal fin, is called disruptive coloration. They can actually seem to be a little bit smaller to their prey and not seem to be such a threat, and that's a way that they can also be camouflaged to obtain their prey. Now, killer whales are among the fastest animals. They can actually reach top speeds of around 28 miles per hour. Let's watch.
Great job, Shouka and Ike. There are at least 10 different types of ecotypes or forms of killer whales that you can find swimming in the world's oceans. And while each of these ecotypes are currently recognized as a single species, and you can tell that they're killer whales, ecotypes can vary in many things, such as size, other physical features, pod size, diet, and hunting strategies. For example, some killer whales will herd fish into a tight ball up at the surface and they use their tail flukes to stun their prey. Killer whales in the Antarctic have been seen washing seals off of ice floes. They swim fast side by side and dive below the floe at the last second, creating a powerful wave. And some killer whales will even slide up onto sandbars or beaches in order to hunt for seals and sea lions. With their combination of physical adaptation and cooperative behavior or teamwork, killer whales are successful hunters in the sea. Inside their mouths are over 40 interlocking cone-shaped teeth used for grasping their food and swallowing it whole. Here at SeaWorld, each individual killer whale can eat between 100 and 200 pounds of restaurant-quality food every single day. But it takes more than an excellent diet to keep our whales in good health. Here at SeaWorld, we've been caring for our whales for nearly 50 years, and we have learned a lot, including what amount of daily care is necessary to keep our whales in optimum health. Preventative care is a key component. How many of you have ever gone to the doctors before? Of course, a lot of us have, and our animals get regular checkups just like all of you, but we actually do it every single day. We use the same training techniques for the big impressive behaviors as we use to help our animals calmly accept regular medical procedures. This is called husbandry training.
Animal training techniques help veterinarians and trainers perform medical examinations more easily. Training the animals to do husbandry behaviors allows us to gather medical history information, helping us to provide top quality animal care. An important component is to train all our animals to calmly accept routine medical procedures, like taking measurements and weights. Routine measurements allow us to determine actual growth rates for an animal, information that is nearly impossible to obtain in the wild. The whales also exhale on cue, and from that we can get blowhole samples to be cultured. We're also able to examine the whale's teeth and perform dental work if needed. Because of successful training techniques, the whales even give us a urine sample when signaled to do so. And we can calmly take blood samples from the tail flukes, since the veins are so close to the surface of the skin and easy to see. Delicate procedures also are possible, such as taking x-rays and obtaining sonogram data. By routinely conducting husbandry procedures, we can establish healthy baseline data for each animal, and then we can use the baseline data to more easily diagnose and treat illnesses. Plus, we can share this information with other professionals involved in caring for the same species, as we all strive towards the same mission of protecting and preserving these amazing animals.
And now here's Autumn to tell us a little bit more.
Thanks again, Jessica. Now, how many of you have ever gone to the doctor and had to get your blood drawn? Raise your hand. Yeah, it can be a pretty scary process, right? Well, we actually have trained the whales to give us what we call voluntary fluke blood. What that means is they will line up on their own in front of us, and they allow our veterinarian staff to come over and draw a blood sample from them. Now, this can help us keep better care of our animals. It tells us a little bit about how their bodies are doing. Now, the way that we start off training this behavior is just with a simple lineup in front of us. We can have them roll over ventral, which means their belly is facing upwards. And then we can slowly approximate to a veterinarian coming over and feeling for a vein. They're able to find that vein, give it a little stick, and then we can get that blood sample from our animals. And as you can see, they're perfectly comfortable, and this is because of the relationship that Matt has built with Shouka. We've worked really hard to build a very strong bond with our animals, and that bond is a symbol of trust, and they're trusting us with this relationship. And so that is how we do our fluke blood. Thank you very much. Good job, Ike and Shouka.
We have learned a lot by working with killer whales here at SeaWorld and collaborating with scientists on research studies. Yet much remains to be discovered and understood. By working with our animals here, we can gain a better understanding and care for animals in the park and out in the wild. For example, like most of the ocean's marine mammals, killer whales have developed complex sounds that they use to explore their world and communicate with each other. They produce these sounds through their blowhole. More than 12 years of research has been done right here at Shamu Stadium on killer whale vocal development. This stadium is equipped with underwater microphones called hydrophones. These hydrophones allow us to know which whale is making the sound and which specific call the whale is making. Through research, we have found that killer whale vocal development is very similar to human language development. How it works is that the killer whale calves will start out making cries, then they move on to babbling, and then they begin to imitate the adults.
Now what's really cool is we've been able to train some of these vocalizations out of the water so you can all hear it. And our personal favorite.
You've just heard how our killer whales use vocalizations to communicate with each other. But how do we communicate with them? Animal training is a long process that involves many different steps. A very important part of training is spending time with the whales every day and building a strong relationship. How many of you like to spend time with your friends? Of course, by spending time with our friends, we get to know them a little better. Our trainers do the same thing with our whales by creating training sessions that are interesting, stimulating, and a whole lot of fun. And now here's Laura to explain a little bit more of what we get to see today.
Thank you. Hi guys, how are you doing today? Come on, how are you guys doing today? All right. Well, I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about the training sessions we do here at Shamu Stadium. We have a lot of different types of training sessions, and we have an acronym for them. It's called HELPER. Now, as you can see, HELPER stands for Husbandry, Exercise, Learning, Play, Relationships, and Shows. Now, you guys just saw a video about what a husbandry session is. It's anything we can do to help maintain the health and well-being of the animals, like drawing blood samples from them. An exercise session is just like you and I, it's important we stay in top physical condition. It's important for the whales. So we come out here and we ask them for a lot of high energy behaviors, get their heart rates up and going. A learning session, that's when we're training something new. A learning session can take place any time of day. It can take days, weeks, or even months to train a brand new behavior. Playtime, pretty self-explanatory, but hanging out with the whales, playing with them, putting some toys in the pool for them to interact with, that's a playtime session. Relationships, spending that one-on-one time with them, and then shows. So today we're going to show you guys an example of a learning session. And we have Ike and Shouka out here right now, and we're going to just ask them for some behaviors together. Now they know these behaviors independently, but we're going to ask them to perform the behaviors together, and we want them to perform them at a high criteria, meaning we don't want them to jump low, we don't want them to jump too high, we don't want them to swim too slow, so we're going to be watching how they're interacting together, and we're going to reinforce them for having their relationship and interacting like that. Okay, so this first behavior is called a zipper. It's a very fast swim, and they're going to porpoise right over around the third pane there and right over here. And this is a high energy behavior. We want to see them getting their heart rates up, getting that speed, getting them moving. And you see Matt's out there with the target pole, and he's going to be tapping, and And that just encourages the whales as to where we want them to go, and we also can encourage that speed. Now when you guys hear that whistle, that's when we are communicating to the animals that they perform the behavior correctly. So they can stop doing whatever that is they're doing, come back to the trainers, and they're going to receive some type of reinforcement, or they may go on another behavior. So right now they're going to be jumping right over where you saw me tapping earlier. And again, right over here on this side of the pool. And right in the center. Now, did you guys see them jump that time? Well, they missed that third jump right there. They were supposed to jump at stage. They didn't do it, so you didn't hear the trainers blow their whistle. The whales just simply stopped the behavior. They went back to stage. The trainers paused for a couple seconds, and then we simply move on. That's how we communicate to the animals when they perform something incorrectly. Okay, we're doing a back dive in the middle of the pool. Now, if you guys have cameras, this is a great photo opportunity. They're going to do a small jump in the corner, but I want you to aim your cameras right to the center of the pool. Excellent job. You guys heard that whistle. They did a great job. Now, all of these behaviors you guys see out here, these aerial behaviors, the jumps and the splashes, we have the same behaviors that we perform in a show. The only difference is, during a show, we may add music, lights, and